Incoming transmission.
Hello friends and folks, 5Aces here. The weather forecasters promised us a mild drizzle, which turned out to be a full-fledged monsoon. So what better a time to get some casts done than right now. And we're starting this up with my second week Grandmasters match, and this is going to be me versus Zoidberg. And Zoidberg, I guess, is one of the less experienced players in the Masters League, so I honestly went for some cheesier stuff, but yeah, we'll see. Let's start the game right now. And I picked Keep Off the Grass 2. No, sorry, that was Zoidberg's home match. He picked Keep Off the Grass 2, and I usually love playing this map in a bit of a cheeky way. You'll see, so I'm starting out Power Plant and obviously Barracks. And given random, I spawned as Soviets again. This time as Russia even. And this time I went for a couple riflemen first, just to scout and give some vision and security for what comes next. And the other thing is 3 Grenadiers. Now you might be wondering, hey, why 3 Grenadiers? What's that gonna achieve? Well, Grenadiers have no armor modifier or no damage modifier versus concrete armor. And concrete walls are what prevents you from mining the middle in this game, or in this map on Keep Off the Grass. So what I did was just snacking away at the concrete walls and moving my MCV middle after the first refinery. I think Zoidberg must have heard this because it's easily audible, and he has sent his rifle infantry in to just try and catch my Grenadiers off guard, but he didn't really find them. So I move out with my original Conyard, and Zoidberg stays home, which is perfectly fine. This map has enough resources in the main base that you can just keep going until, I'd say, until you've reached Service Depot Tech and build another MCV. So no big deal there, not a mistake. What you want to do actually is, I was actually on one harvester for a really long time because you'll see what I built there. A couple really cheeky things. I intercepted his scouts just to take the pressure off the Grenadiers, so the Grenadiers are safe to kill the walls, which has now happened. Also a flame tower in the backside so that he doesn't surprise me and like snipe my ore refiner with some kind of crazy, I know, so there could be some, for all I know there could be some crazy flamethrower drop or something, because I didn't scout this faction yet. I was a bit too hesitant to scout with a build this greedy. You can't afford losing scouts as well. So yeah, now I'm mining from the middle, I've got the gems. And Zoidberg did something really weird here. He actually deployed in the middle and tried to contest for the diamonds, for the gems. What he actually should have done is ran up to straight up to the top side and just secured his first natural expansion, top right. And there are actually 3 ore mines there, so in the late game that's better than the middle with the gems. He went for a scout as well. I was set scan for some reason. It's not a scan, it's not StarCraft, come on. This ain't StarCraft, boys. So yeah, and he's now trying to contest for the middle, which was a really odd choice given the situation of the game. Because I already had expanded there, he knew that I was ahead, and also that gives me the tech edge. And what I'm doing here now is I'm walling off. However, I fuck up big time, spoiler alert. My wall, okay, if I were Trump, I would not be able to keep anyone out of the country. My walls sucked balls that game. Like look at this, top side, and you would imagine it's tight, it's not. There is one cell to the top side at the cliff where you actually can pass through. I wasn't aware of that. Fucked up there. Oh well. So I'm now just placing another segment of walls to make him go the long con. He's gotten a really good read of me with his ranger, which is to retain. And this ore refinery placement of his, this was probably what screwed him the most. Look at how far this ore refiner, this harvester has to both the ore patches. Like, even if we were to get a hold of the middle gems, it would take him like 10 cells. And now, he's long distance mining from like half a screen away. That is not what you want to do with your eco. Okay, take notes guys, don't do this. If he had played this a bit safer and just went to the top expansion, I might actually have been behind in this game, like legit behind. But at that rate, it allowed me to rush a radar dome, and in my opinion, on this map you don't really need a service depot until very late game, or even then you just don't need it, period. Because what you can do is you can always move around with the original MCV, because this map actually has a no-go zone in the middle. So you just wall off the top side, and the bottom side you can put your army there or whatever, and you're absolutely safe to expand with your original MCV. There is no threat to you whatsoever, other than air units, and air units get countered by any sort of radar tech from the allies, because it allows them to place AA guns, but it also allows, well, yeah, it also allows Soviets to go for V2s, which you'll see in return what I'm doing here. So he's behind on the radar. I placed a Tesla coil in the middle simply to deny any harvesters that are coming in. He has gone for triple Rangers, and those are actually stacked, loaded with rocket soldiers, but I spot the danger and I simply move away, because 3 rocket soldiers, that's not enough DPS to really kill a harvester when it's moving away. Also, I've got so many rifle infantry, and rifle infantry just don't trade well versus... Rangers don't trade well versus rifle infantry, which is odd, but it's the way it works. Rangers are really weak in combat, but to offset that, they have some of the greatest utility and scouting in the game, and also speed. That's why I love them. So yeah, don't use Rangers for combat. It's basically like the phase transports. They have so much utility, but no combat stats whatsoever, which is perfectly fine, perfectly balanced. Alright, so my Tesla coil has been revealed, and he knows he can't really push in there anymore. Also, I'm pushing a couple infantry in there just simply to deny his rocket soldiers from... just to get him away from our trucks. Now he started building artilleries, and that's the classic way allies play choke pointy maps. You place a couple AA guns, you place a couple of base defenses, and then you start shelling. But this is a playstyle that is really difficult for new players to counter, because everyone's like, how do you counter those OP artilleries? But actually it's fairly easy. What I'm doing here, I have one single yak, and I'm currently building a V2 from what I can remember. You'll see how this works in conjunction together. He's built a Hind for the vision as well. Yes, Hinds are very crucial to this allied playstyle, simply for the line of sight. It's paramount to keep tabs on that. So now I'm going to go into my vision shortly, I believe. And I have the first V2 up. So what is the V2 gonna do? I'm giving myself line of sight with the yaks, and then I am actually force firing the V2 into the shroud on the cell where the artillery stands. And this allows me to just get free picks. Here he popped the AA gun. Unfortunately it wasn't fast enough, but I still get the snipe on 2 artilleries. Really worth it for me. And this game is gonna continue. Like this mini game of sniping the artilleries is actually gonna continue for quite a while here. He's sending a light tank in to deny my V2, but I have a Tesla coil readily placed there. Should maybe have gone for a SAM site as well. One thing I didn't realize at that point, sniping another artillery, was that those 2 power plants down there in the middle were actually completely undefended. I was expecting him to have like spammed more base defenses, but yeah, so I'm really hesitant to go in there and picking away at it. And what he's doing now, that's the strangest all-in move I've seen in a long time. He tried to get his original Conyard up there and try to base push me out of my original mining. He tried to deny the original mining there. And what this meant was, I had no idea this was his original MCV. I thought he could have somehow mustered the eco to go for 2 Conyards. So I was like, okay, he's trying to base push me with an expansion. Wait, he doesn't pop a base defense, huh? And I still didn't realize that wasn't his original Conyard though. So my V2s just stayed middle because I was really scared that he might have something else in store. So instead I just picked away at the base defenses. By the way you want to do this is not via A moving. Instead you want to shift click on the defenses that you have scouted. And here he's got a couple pillboxes up, shredding my infantry. But the problem was that the second pillbox, if you notice this, was actually focusing my refinery. So I had I had a really easy time sniping this because he wasn't microing correctly. Should have been focus firing. Okay, and now this is where it starts to go downhill. I think, okay, I'm ahead. He's called the GG, so time to have some fun. time to go for some random build, like time to queue up, what, 20 flamethrowers, queue up a tech center, queue up an A-bomb, queue up MiGs. I did all of that. And you'll see that this is costing me a lot, like a lot of time and resources in the end. And he's still got two helipads. I should have sniped them way earlier. At this point, I should at this point like go in and just snipe the helipads and run out. Because the radar is not what is holding me back here. And instead, I just give him some free picks. Yeah, trading 2 for 1, and he still survives with his hind. That was pretty bad. Now I'm trying to place my yak in such a way that I can kill the landed heli, which I'm now doing. There's a strafe incoming, yep. I'm also getting the artillery in the process, so it's a fairly good trade, but still I should have finished this out so much earlier. I should have just gone for mass rifles and rockets and push this position in. Maybe one heavy tank, and the game would have been over in like 2 minutes. Instead, yeah, I botched that a bit. That pretty much is fail showboating at its best. So the game is just like over halfway done, just 60%. Pretty, not a very stellar performance on my part, but hey, it was all for the funsies. Yeah, especially those flamethrowers, they cost me so much money. Also, what I should have done is just, once I've expanded bottom left, I should simply have gone for a refinery there, but I hesitated for ages because I was like, I don't need eco, I've won the game, right? Right? No, haven't won yet. Not even close. So, moral of the story, never be too overconfident. He's managing to get out hind after hind and just deny all my attempts at doing anything there. Again, I should have moved into the artillery there. He's got a single hind and he's sniping so much of my stuff. In terms of the economy, I'm not even that, like, my assets are obviously double his, or even more than that, but I could have played this so much better and so much easier. Could have had it easier. And instead, I'm going for the MiGs now, and the MiGs are actually not that horrible of a choice. That was a wasted yak. MiGs were not that horrible of a choice because they give you a massive line of sight. Like, it's 14 cells, and they also, when they idle, they travel back and forth, so it expands to like +5 cells on top of that. So that's some really good map coverage, but you have to be really cautious with them. Also, they're great for sniping harvesters, and here what you want to do is always focus behind. I was a bit slow there, but finally managing to get the first helipad down. Now I have moved my economy bottom side. Should have done that ages ago. Tesla tank coming up because why not, right? Tesla tanks, always fun. And an Iron Curtain. Here's my first MiG. I will probably switch into the vision to show you what line of sight it gives. It's like half the map in a map this small. It's pretty beautiful. Here I was faster at sniping behind, faster on the trigger finger. But flak tracks are still really good versus infantry, especially if you have the line of sight, because they have a line of sight advantage. Here I'm moving the MiG away. MiGs have the same health as a shock trooper right now, 60. Trying to focus fire with a V2, but not the greatest. He's retaining his rockets. And this was quite an embarrassing move there, because what I was building here was a nuke. So I didn't have any defenses queued up whatsoever. This is just sad. Yeah, the second MiG bombarding a couple rocket soldiers. Not exactly the intended purpose. Here I'm losing my last V2 rocket to his last hind, or his second to last hind. But fortunately I'm finally managing to muster an army and managing to push out the helipads, destroy them. Now this small infantry section down bottom side has given me so much trouble, because I was at the time building a fucking nuke. I should have, like, if you want to play serious, you just cancel the nuke, you go for a simple flamethrower, that's it, right? But no. Instead I lose both my refineries, I'll let him get away scot-free there, I lose another yak for absolutely no gain whatsoever because my shift micro was bad. Top side, I have an army that I'm not using currently. This was not my finest hour, believe you me. Now finally, that's the first time I'm actually using the Iron Curtain. Even though my Tesla tank isn't even being focused. Really, really questionable play. Don't ask me why. I was probably a bit just overconfident. I was like, okay, Origin Cognac down, yeah, GG. Now he's building mass rifle infantry, and I have no answers to that other than the Tesla tanks, fortunately. But okay, so shock troopers are really broken still, I believe, in my opinion at least. But Tesla tanks are balanced. Tesla tanks are really balanced because they do a lot of damage. High burst, but they only kill one infantry at a time. They're strictly single target. So what's happening here is I'm losing my entire fucking ground army to a batch of rifle soldiers, which you should never do that. And yeah, the Tesla tanks themselves don't really trade effectively versus infantry, and the reason being that their reload time is just so abysmal. Also, I should have been way better at kiting, but I was microing the MiGs to get some harvester snipes. Was a bit tunnel visioning there. Yeah, horrible play. Trying to get his last harvester low. On one airfield, mind you, so the rearming is gonna take extra long. Great stuff. He's moving into my couple Tesla tanks. Now finally I'm like, okay, time to end the game. Let's not fuck around anymore. Let's build shock troopers. And shock troopers are game enders. It's just there's nothing you can do once they start rolling out. You would need artillery, but obviously I've sniped the radar dome, I've sniped all the tech, and he can't rebuild any tech, so no artilleries for him. 4 MiGs, that's 8k invested in MiGs. If I had just invested 8k in a standing army, well, game would have taken 20 minutes. But hey, fail showboating at its best. Sniping his last harvester here. I believe, did he call the game after that? Can't remember. But shortly. Finally focusing down the barracks because I'm deciding I've had it with losing my Tesla tanks to unpromoted rifle infantry. I think that's where he's calling it. That's all he has. No more money, no more eco. One last Conyard and I'm just curtaining a Tesla tank. Yep. The offensive GG even. I just knew he had nothing else, so I was fine, I believe. Yep. That's a wrap there. He didn't surrender at all. Huh. Whoops. I killed his last power plant. Alright. That's it for this match, so what can we say? First off, on this map, on Keep Off the Grass, you actually want to secure the middle expansion or the gem mines. But they're not that great in the late game, because there's a lot of money in that early game, but late game, the top right and bottom left expansions have 3 ore mines to mine from, while the middle only has 2. So if you go there, it's basically more of an early game move, and you need to solidify your lead by going to another part of the map. Alright, that's it for now. I'll see you guys with part 2 after a short commercial break. Welcome back, and this was my home match, and obviously I randomed France for my home match, my absolute favorite faction, Kappa. So this is Forest Path, one of my favorite 1v1 maps. A bit tricky to play, especially due to the pathing. It's not only the pathing, but also you need to really know where to place buildings. Like the entire layout of the map is really important, and the reason I picked this to make it more difficult or more obnoxious for our opponent is in the Masters Division, you actually are not allowed to start with explored map. You have to go unexplored map. So you don't know the structure placement, so scouting becomes so key here. And yeah, Forest Path is really tricky to play because no matter what you do, your opponent is usually, if he's not a potato, he's usually always going to get at least another expansion, so it's going to be almost even in eco. And then it just depends on your micro, and also the middle, top and left patches are really hard to push through because the pathing can be so bad. because of all those like the forest clearing there is really horrible for pathing. So Zoidberg has moved out with his original MCV. He's trying to get the middle and the left. I don't like it that much. He's trying to go for the gems, but once the gems are mined out, the harvester has to go like what, 12 cells. So again, ore refinery placement has been not the best at this stage of the game. Meanwhile, I just go for the secure expansions because the middle is also hard to hold. It's easy to push you out with artillery there, or with V2s for that matter, and I just go for the safe spots. So after my first refinery into barracks, I move out, build another power plant to snake walk up to the ore patch. So I have actually more income than him even right now, even though he's mining the gems, because yeah, he has like 10 cells travel distance, and I have some immediate cash flow right there. Also on Forest Path, an interesting trail of thought, you might want to not build a harvester there. Instead just go for refineries at the perfect spots, and the reason for that being is harvesters are a bit overkill. There is not that much ore. You are basically dependent on the ore mines, and the initial ore is like mined out in 2 minutes flat. Yeah, and those gems are not gonna regenerate obviously, so better go for the safe expansions, do what I did. And again, this is a map where you want to rush a radar simply because you want the map control from the airplanes or Heinz or whatever, and you also want artilleries or V2s respectively. So randoming France for me means that I'm probably going to have to build a mobile gap generator down the line, like not rushing. But yeah, he's moving out again, and you see that the problem with this build is he has invested a lot into that stuff here, and he's gonna be behind in tech. So he doesn't have his radar up in time to counter my first couple of artilleries and Heinz. I'm trying to block with my Ranger. Ranger gives me a good read here, and I retain it. Problem is, I'm not building a service depot until like, I don't know, very late game. Like, whatever is considered late game for this map, you know, these games usually tend to not go into high tech, only radar dome. Also, I've rushed a fake nuke silo, very important, just crucial to build a fake nuke silo, especially against an opponent that hasn't scouted yet. Yeah, it was just for funsies, because the first game went really well, so I was like, yeah, well, let's do it. So not having a service depot is gonna almost bite me in the ass, because my Ranger can't be repaired. That's really obnoxious. Here I've built a medic simply to heal my rifle infantry up. And now he's focusing on the medic, but I've got 2 rocket soldiers coming in. I've built those because I know that light tank blocks are still an issue, because this was played in the old patch. So light tank blocks were still a very easy option. Now I'm just using the line of sight from my Rangers to get some picks on his scouts. You can see that he can't shoot back because you can't shoot what you can't see. Bitch. I'm sorry. Now I'm trying to put some pressure onto the ore truck, and he can't really snake walk up there because this area is so confined and dense that you can't actually really snake walk up a power plant, not with his ore refiner placement, that is. Should have gone for another placement. Yeah, something I shouldn't have done is I built a lot of ore trucks. I should instead just have stayed on 2 or 3, maybe gotten another refinery and sold it off. But yeah, it was a strange decision on my part, but I've got my first Hind out, way ahead of his tech, and this is gonna provide me with some really nice insight, even though I mismicroed the first Hind horribly. So what you're gonna see here, first I'm trying to get just some picks on the scouts, so my Ranger is not in immediate danger, at least, because it's in the red, and you can't see it yet. My Ranger hasn't been revealed. So now I'm going for a scout on his base. I'm like, okay, that's how it looks. And I think I'm safe. I think I can get out of there, but he gets the last shot off, and yeah, the missile tracks and kills my Hind. I would have retained it otherwise, which was a bit unfortunate. So I have to wait for a long time for a second Hind to come out. And that actually puts him almost on an even footing, because he has now time to also build his radar. I can't put pressure on. He's having 3 light tanks here, but I have 2 rocket soldiers and like no match. Those light tanks are actually RC toy tanks, if you want to hear my opinion. They can take 4 rockets until they die. So the only thing they're good for in this, as of this meta, is scouting. Also their damage is so bad, like the Nerf guns. Pew 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 pew. It just doesn't kill anything. Yeah, I've seen Gatekeeper go for builds where there's like 20 light tanks, and yeah, 20 light tanks can kill some shit, yeah. I agree, but 1 light tank is actually ass. He loses a lot of rocket soldiers there, pretty expensive, 900. Pretty much 1 harvester load, and on the map this low eco, yeah, I'd say that's a pretty good deal. Focusing down the refinery, but he's already transferred the harvester over, so not a big deal. Now I can pick the artillery because he hasn't built anti-air yet. So he's now losing his ore refinery. And his artillery spam has commenced. Now what I should have done, I didn't realize that he had very, very little rocket soldiers because my scouting was actually kind of meh that game. So what I should have done actually is go for like just 2 light tanks. He gets a single hind end, and I obviously don't have the build radius with power plants to... What I also should have done is taken my original MCV here and move into the middle. But the reason why I'm not doing this is because I was producing a tech center, believe it or not, on this map. I just saw myself so ahead. More so than what I was, I guess. His camo pillbox survived. And also he got to pick off all my artilleries basically for free. Because I haven't invested into anti-air yet. That was the 2nd time he has revealed the hind, so I should not have stood there with the artilleries. Should have rather gone for the bottom and just tried to lock it down. Here what I'm doing is sniping away at the soldiers and going into AA gun range. That wasn't scouted yet, the AA gun wasn't revealed yet. So yeah, that can happen. The reason why I'm doing this is because I still have a ranger and an engineer. And an engineer is a really odd choice. No one is going to expect a rangineer on this map. I'm losing another one. He's moving his original Conyard really far forward here. And that's a good position for him to be in because he has locked it down with an AA gun. And I don't even have that yet. So I have to respond by also going down and build an AA gun. I've built a couple mechanics simply to patch up my harvesters and to be as annoying as possible. Finally my AA gun pops. Problem is, even though I've taken down the hind, it has been revealed. So he knows exactly where it is, he knows the positioning, and he can focus it down with artilleries. You always want to keep your AA gun positions hidden. Also, the mechanic I built there was simply to counteract the poke from the pillbox, because he had a pillbox there, and it was slowly starting to whittle down my harvesters. Keep in mind that I'm now mining from the middle, and he isn't, despite him having built a refinery there. And now I go for the capture because I know he's focusing all his attention on the bottom side. So I have a rangineer. That was some really bad RNG there. I shot his artillery 3 times, missed 3 times. He shot mine 1 time, got it. Well, pray to RNGesus. Can happen from time to time. So what I've done here is I've captured the top refinery. Now I'm using my harvester to tank because I know there's a mechanic, and he hasn't focus fired. If he had focus fired my infantry, this would have been a really bad decision, but he didn't, so I just retain all my stuff and my harvester gets fixed up again. Yeah, my NG finally going down to his last scout. My ranger as well, trying to get it out of there, but yep, shit happens. Now I'm trying to get his ore trucks, successfully so. This ore truck was a bit bugged out. I tried to get it to mine from the middle, but it had this pathing issue that the ore trucks sometimes tend to have. And he's going in with a hind. What I know now that I need to move my Conyard up, but I've got the tech center now. So I think I'm relatively shortly going to move out my original Conyard. And I have a service depot, but investing 2k in a second Conyard is just not what I'm willing to do. I'm not willing to invest the 2k, considering I already have a really small standing army. He can't mine from the middle anymore. That's my big plus here. I'm obviously focusing the rocket soldiers, so I'm getting some good picks here. I have double helipad, but only one helicopter. So this harvester has started mining from the top side, from his hatch, and that was actually quite annoying for him because it kept denying him all the income from there. It's like in StarCraft when you click your SCV or whatever, or drone or probe on an enemy patch, and it just can't mine from there anymore. It's not quite that way, but here ore slowly regenerates over time, and I've just stolen it on cooldown basically. Here another almost miss micro. He has popped another AA gun. So finally I've got a couple more artilleries backed by a single AA. I'm also trying to retain middle control, but that's looking bleak because it's got 2 Hinds as opposed to my one really damaged and the other one that doesn't do jack shit up top. And still out of AA gun range. That was unfortunate. Now I tried to deploy here and it didn't work. Like, I couldn't find an angle to get a good deploy vector. Yeah, okay, first I'm deploying here, but I realized that I can't snake walk with power plants out of there. It's actually something I've never done before, so I should have practiced that. No excuse there. And the thing I've got going for me is the high tech and the fact that I'm mining from the middle. Also, fake nuke silo, pretty good. And eventually I think that I went for a mobile gap generator. Also Tanya. Not a smart choice on this map because of the abundance of artilleries, Hinds, pillboxes. Or what I really should have built there in hindsight, but you know, hindsight is 2020. What I should have built there was just a couple light tanks. A couple light tanks could have wrecked his army composition, because the Hinds waste all their ammo on them without killing them, and rifle infantry does negligible damage. He had no rocket soldiers, and the artilleries, you can close the gap so easily. Yeah, here's my mobile gap generator. Really beautiful. I love the way it's designed. And it's really obnoxious for him. The only thing was he had a Hind there, which I didn't realize. Now I realized. Also, he didn't have an AA gun anymore. So, guess I should have moved in way earlier. But now I've deployed here, deployed my AA gun. He's starting to build another AA. He knows he has to move back. I'm focusing on his base defenses there. It makes no sense. Should have focused the helipad and then the construction yard, just to deny him this convenient location. And that was a really bad move here. I thought I could just deploy and get away with it. Instead, what happened was he had 3 more artilleries. I was expecting only 1. Now he starts focus firing my stuff. Mutually shoot destruction with the Hinds, but he knows my Conyard is there. I'm trying to snake walk, but it was just too late. Now I was actually really close. If I hadn't moved back, I would have lost by only MCV, and it would have taken me ages to rebuild. And he could have pushed so much in the meantime. But that's his original MCV, and now he doesn't have an AA gun. Now that I've focused it down, oh yeah, there's another one. But he loses line of sight because I killed the artilleries. So what I can do again is just focusing on the AA gun. That's what you always want to do. Focus on the AA gun and then move in with the Hinds. That's how you play this strategy. He just is relegated to blindly firing into the shroud, which I don't know if it's getting anything. Now he's moving a couple infantry in, and that was, you might think that was not anything at all. But he has revealed the position. This has given away the position of my artillery, so he can now focus fire on the correct spot. And I realized it moved out, but not in time. However, I've pushed out his MCV, and he doesn't have an AA gun to pop for quite some time. Now I have 3 Hinds, critical mass. I just obliterate his Conyard, go in, kill another artillery on the way, just for on the go, for shits and giggles. And now he knows he's lost because he's gone broke. He doesn't have a service depot anymore to rebuild his MCV, and he's just gonna slowly get picked apart. Doesn't matter what he does. So what he's doing here, he is selling out, trying to get as many like civilians, infantry, whatnot as he can muster, trying for a last all-in push. I realize it, and I've got Tanya, and that's the only reason I trained her. Just kidding. I trained her for no particular reason at all. So Tanya is just shift microed to, or shift queued to kill all the buildings. That's his last building. And that was close actually. She got a dodge off on the, otherwise she would have been crushed by the ore truck. It's his last building, and while his all-in push would have killed my tech center probably, he goes down. Goes out in a blaze. Blazing glory, yeah. So this match, what have you learned in general? Scouting is so important. Set your eco up properly. Don't do it like Zoidberg did in the first match where you had to go like 20 or 30 cells to the ore. Place your refineries next to the ore. Go for multiple ore trucks. Vision control, how to play with Hinds, how to play with artilleries. Artilleries should focus AA guns on any sort of anti-air at all, and afterwards the Hinds swoop in and do the cleanup. Tech rushing is not very viable on small maps, and if he would have played it any differently with a more of a standing army composition, I would have probably lost the game, yeah. So all the plays here were really cheeky, simply because I knew that Zoidberg is one of the players in the league who plays the least on a day-to-day basis, I guess. So yeah, I just knew I had the edge and could beat him with experience. Other than that, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time. 5 Aces out.